Shema Israel. Hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
For discussion on Exodus chapter 8, verses 20 and on. So right now, we are going to talk about verse 23. I'll make a difference between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign shall be.
Alrighty, so this one was a very important verse with this distinction or division of Israel in the land of Goshen versus Egypt. So there were a few verses I wanted to go through because this just made me, let me just read it real quickly. And it says, and I will put a division between my people and your people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. And so then it got me thinking about the overall theme, just a little bit outside of this this verse, the theme that Yisrael was always supposed to be a separated people, a people that was distinguished amongst the nation. So I want to go through some verses that span through the Tanakh as well as the Brit Hadashah in regards to us supposed to being a peculiar people and the like. So the first verse will be in Yeshayahu or Isaiah 49, verse 6, which reads, and we're also getting into the study of Isaiah, so that will be coming up as well. But 49:6 says, indeed, he says, referring to Yahuwah, it is too small a thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Yaakov and to restore the preserved ones of Yisrael. I will also give you as a light to the Gentiles, that you should be my salvation to the ends of the earth. Now, if the Gentiles were also a light, then there wouldn't be any distinction amongst Yisrael and the Gentiles, right? But there is. They cast darkness because they are not following the ways of Yahuwah, and yet Yisrael was supposed to and is still supposed to, therefore being that light and that beacon on top of the hill. And if you want to cut off at any point, by all means. Next verse I have is Acts chapter 13, verse 47. And it says, for so Yahuwah has commanded us, and this is again a cross-reference going backwards, I have set you as a light to the Gentiles, that you should be salvation to the ends of the earth. So this is repeated within the Brit Hadashah. And I'm just kind of just trying to show that this still goes from the quote-unquote Old to the quote-unquote New Testament. We're always supposed to be a light to the nations. Going backwards in Exodus chapter 19, verses 5 and 6. It says, now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, speaking of Yahuwah, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, or a set apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. Within this, and you could probably go all through this. Oh, yeah. He says, obey my voice and keep my commandment. And this is linked to being a special treasure of Yahuwah and being a people that is above all other people and being his. So
and keeping his covenant.
Yes, and
this is how you this is confirmation of how you can be known as somebody who keeps God's covenant. You're a covenant keeper. How do we know? Because a lot of times Christianity, they're very elusive and ethereal with their explanations. Oh, we just need to be holy. Oh, we just need to love. Oh, we need to love God and keep his commandments. We need to love Jesus. What does that mean though? Like, how do we determine that you're loving him? What is the definition of that love? And it's right there in scripture. It's by your obedience. obviously it's faith first. We talked about this a lot already in our videos, but it's keeping the covenant. I want to see that verse again because it's something it's hitting something with me. Um Yep. You shall be. So again, this passage in verse 19, verse 6, at the end, it says, say this to the children of Israel. It didn't say this only to the Levites. It says, say this to the children of Israel. And as what was said to the children of Israel, which is all of the Israelites. This is Levites, the children of Aaron. These are normal Israelites from all 12 tribes. He says this, you shall be to me a kingdom of priests. That's very interesting. Why am I bringing this out? Because not everybody was a priest. Even though these statements were made to the entire nation of Israel, not all of them were priests. They were a kingdom of priests, meaning they were a kingdom that had priests within it. That doesn't make everybody a priest. And this is very good, and you're probably going to go there, but this statement comes up again in the New Testament regarding the believers today.
Yep. That'll be probably the second one after this. And if you're thinking about First Peter.
Mm-hmm.
In Deuteronomy 14, 2, verse 2, it says, for you are a holy or set apart Kadesh people to Yahuwah your God, and Yahuwah has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. Again, I'm bringing this out to point out in the actual story that we're reading within Exodus is talking about how Yahuwah has separated the Israelites from a particular plague, right? And they're in the land of Goshen, and this is the first plague in which they separated them. He wound up separating them amongst the Egyptians. But this goes beyond just that type of separation. It's there's still supposed to be this theme of separating ourselves from among the people. Although we're in the world, we're not supposed to be of it. The verse that my
Like
husband,
the word holy. The word holy means set apart,
mhm,
right? It means to be different from something else. Like the Sabbath. God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. And on the seventh day, he made that day holy, meaning he set that day apart from the other 6 days. It's not the same. So from creation, from the beginning, God ordained the seventh day of the week to be set apart from the other days. You can't redefine that. You can't change that. You can't make now the first day or the fourth day or the fifth day now holy. No, every day isn't set apart. If every day was set apart, then there's nothing to set apart each day from one another. They wouldn't be set apart if they were all set apart. So one day is set apart from the others, you know. Likewise, in context of what my wife is bringing up here, is the Israelites, God's chosen people, his covenant people, his elect, are set apart from every other ethnicity on the planet. It's just the facts. And if you wanna join God's covenant people, you have to convert. You have to cross over and join in with that religion and that culture.
yeah, and
And their law is basically the heart of what we always want to get to. You
yes,
can't ignore the narrative of scripture and God's chosen people, God's elect, and God's law. You just can't separate covenant from God's law. It's
it's a
very
package
consistent.
deal.
Go ahead.
A package deal. That
Yep.
it definitely is. Um, so going into what he was referring to in the Brit first, Peter 2:9 says it's a repetition of what happened in Deuteronomy. It says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Verse 10, who once were not a people, but are now the people of God, who had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
And I have issues with this, and I'm willing to be corrected, but I'm starting to see context here. I'm starting to see scripture in better context. Since the longer I've been away from Christianity, I've been getting better, concrete understanding of letting scripture interpret itself. And even with this statement right here, I don't believe that that makes every believer in Messiah a priest. I don't believe that makes all of us priests. I believe that a priest is a very special position Not everybody's a teacher. Not everybody's a shepherd. Not everybody's a mediator. Priests are mediators. They're ministers and mediators between God and men. Not everybody is called or supposed to be in that position. And as a Christian, I used to say, yeah, I'm a priest. According to the order of Melchizedek, I'm a priest. I'm a priest. Walking around saying I'm a priest. How you know you like? No, you're not a priest. What is a priest according to the order of Melchizedek? Do you even know what it is? Do you know what the function is of a priest according to the order of Melchizedek? Do you know what the duties are? No. But we know that it's a fact that Yahuwah's chosen people are a kingdom of priests. There are
And
priests.
also, historically speaking, priests did not appoint themselves. They were either appointed by God Himself. So,
Yep.
just a little
I
tidbit.
don't, and I let me go further with just to be clear, in case people are wondering what I'm talking about. I don't believe shepherds are priests. Just because I'm a teacher and I'm a shepherd of an assembly, I'm not making myself out to be a priest. I don't know what priest he's referring to. If he's referring to the Levitical priest or if he's referring to a priest under the Melchizedek priesthood. I don't know what that looks like yet. I feel like we will get more of a revelation of that either in the 1,000-year reign or after the 1,000-year reign. I'm not sure, but as of right now, I don't have descriptions. I don't have instructions. There's nothing in the scriptures that gives us instructions of what the priesthood of Melchizedek is supposed to be doing. Therefore, I'm not going to assume and just lucidly, like a wild sword, just start making up things. Okay. But one thing I do know is teachers, unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but just because I'm a shepherd doesn't make me a priest. I'm willing to be corrected on that, though.
Perfect. A few more verses. Um, Deuteronomy 7:6 says, "For you are a holy people to Yahuwah your God. Yahuwah your God has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth." I'm not too sure if
Mm-hmm.
I might have already read that. Leviticus 19:2.
Be holy.
Yes, be set apart. Um, Leviticus 19:1 and 2, actually. And Yahuwah said to Moses, saying, "Speak to all the congregation of the children of
Mm-hmm.
Israel and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, Yahuwah, your God, am holy, set
Mm-hmm.
apart." Leviticus 20:26 says,
And right after that said, keep my Sabbath.
it does in
That
verse 3, it says, "Every one of you shall revere his mother and father and keep my Sabbaths. I am Yahuwah, your God."
you cannot separate holiness from the law of God. It is absolutely, it's just destruction to scripture. It is absolute destruction to biblical interpretation. It is just a destruction to scriptural interpretation, rightly dividing the word. It is horrendous. Anybody that would assume that God's holiness definition changes, that his standard of holiness changes, it doesn't make any sense. There's no precept to it. There's no prophecy to that happening. It is just, it frustrates me.